Hey everybody, good morning. Well, just kind of sitting out here on the veranda and having a good morning, drinking some coffee. I'd take a drink of my coffee, but it's propping up the camera, so I can't do that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's taken so long to get my truck out and getting it out on the road. I live in central Oklahoma, and the good friend that I have that allowed me to use his shop to do all the work that you saw in all the videos, he lives in a small town, and that small town kind of has limited resources. And after I'd finished all the construction, I had a downpipe for the Ford. That was all I had for the exhaust, just to get it out of the engine compartment down to where it's not going to just blow straight into the engine compartment, heat things up, possible fires and stuff. So that's all that I really had, because that's all I need. And in the video where I was finishing up, you could hear it drag on the ground, so you know it didn't fit right. But it was clearance enough that I could take it with that configuration the way that it was. The downpipe was actually held up by baling wire. Had a V-clamp up on the turbo, and of course those are pretty solid, but you know, if you hit those things hard or something, you're liable to separate the exhaust manifold from the head. And, you know, you just want to make sure everything's cool. So having said that, one of the things that I have to watch for on that situation was I didn't want to have to drive it too far. So I started looking Google Maps and doing some research, and there's a fella that's about 3 miles away from the shop where I was working, and in the title of his business had exhaust in it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'll give him a call. Called it a couple times, he didn't answer. It would go to voicemail, and so I knew he was there. And I drive over to the place one day just before I finished up, and I asked him if he would be willing to take on this project for the exhaust, and he said he would. But I want you to understand, this probably old 54, 55-year-old mechanic got an old Texaco station. It looks like 2 bays and an office, an old style Texaco station. And he just, inside the shop, you know, he's got a lift, probably why he bought the place. He's got a lift, an old-fashioned lift, center pole lift. But he could get a lot done with it for his exhaust and whatnot. But he would do general mechanics and stuff. And so I went over there, talked to him about it, and he said that he'd be glad to give it a look. And he said he thinks he can get it done. Took it over there to him the day that last video that I recorded where the truck was pulling out. That was the day. Pulled it in there. He took a look at it. He said, sure. He said it's probably going to need an adapter, and he thought he would be able to find one. So I said, okay. And I told him at that time, putting big air quotes around a mistake here that I did, told him I wasn't in that big of a hurry. At the time, I was not in that big of a hurry because I had things going on in my life. So having said that, about 2 weeks after I had dropped it off, my recollection says it was around May 31st. I was in town. I live 45 miles away from where he was, so I was back in that little town. And I go over there by the shop, and that truck hadn't moved, and he hadn't called me or anything. And so I talked to him about it, and he said he couldn't find the adapters for it. But he thought that he would be able to take the downpipe that he has and be able to make it happen. Long story on that one was two weeks later, I go back over, and he said he was looking at it and he didn't think that he'd be able to make it, and but that he would be able to work on it and be able to make something happen if I would be able to do 3-inch pipe instead of 4-inch pipe, because he didn't stock a whole lot of 4-inch pipe. So I said sure, and didn't really call him, mess with him, because I really wasn't in that big of a hurry. It was summertime. I didn't want to run that truck too hard during the summer, brand new and everything. So another 2 weeks goes by, and I call him up, and he says he's got a friend coming out of Tulsa that is going to be able to bring him the part that he's wanting to get it done. And so I called him the day after his friend was supposed to be in, and he told me that his friend had had a wreck and it destroyed the part. Yeah, he did. So I said, well, I'll find it for you. And of course, I've got all the connections, pure diesel and diesel conversions and poor man's diesel and all these different places where I got parts during the construction, and found the exact connection on diesel power products, and that the piece that I needed that would mate up and had the flexibility to be able to move it around the dipstick for the transmission and whatnot. It's about $300 piece. So I ordered it, brought it over to him. Now we're 2 months into this. 2 months into it. That's why I haven't been putting anything on the video channel. 2 months into it. Here it is, getting ready to turn September, and we got it to him in early June. And I talked to him last couple of days and went over there and saw it, and he's got everything welded and all that stuff, and he looks like he's getting ready to make the final welds, and that's what he tells me he's going to do. And this was on Monday. It is now Thursday of this week. Yesterday went over there and he had it all. He asked me to come over because there was a V-clamp that he couldn't quite get to match. I wonder if I had another one. I did, and so I brought him that V-clamp, and he said he could get it done. So it is now last week in August. To bring it concise there, he's not been able to get out there and do it because it's just been too dang hot. But it's just a mom and pop shop. The reason why he got it was because it was so close by, and he did exhaust. I didn't want to have to run it very far. I just want to say this, that I'm not upset with him. I'm not mad. You guys probably make comments down there saying what you would do. I've had thoughts of just going over and telling him put that old downpipe back on there and take it somewhere else. I'm going to tell you why I didn't. I'm not doing it because this is a one-man operation. The guy has the ability to get it done, has the equipment to get it done. He's making a living out of his shop. He's by himself. Every once in a while he has some help over there, but he doesn't have a whole lot. And in the mechanic business, I know you make your money by being able to get small repairs done quickly and being able to turn the equipment around. Mine takes a little, what I was asking him to do, it takes a little bit of measurement and precision for him to be able to make it happen and make it right. People be asking me, what's going on with your truck? I got family that knows that I finished it 2.5 months ago. They're wondering, why don't you just go over there, tell him to hook that stuff up and throw the parts and then take it somewhere where that'll get it done. I got to tell you, I've thought about that many times, but I'm not going to do that. Is it because I feel sorry for the guy? No. It's because he's out there working his butt off, trying to feed his family, trying to get it done. He's not I mean, he's in competition with some of the big boys that are down the street. And I just kind of relate that he's out there working overtime pay, working overtime hours, getting you-know-what pay, as Oliver Anthony would say. So I'm not going to pull it away from him. I'm going to let him finish it. When he gets it done, I'm going to show it to you, and you guys will be able to judge for yourself.
All right, well, there it is. It's there with the hood up. They've been working on it. We're going to go in there and talk to them.
To get it up to where it needed to seal and stuff, the crazy thing was touching the lower part of the firewall.
There's been those days where, you just wanted to cash it all in, but I just can't bring myself to do it.